going on, guys? This is episode number 13 of the Going for Two podcast with Jansen and Hunter. I'm your host, Hunter Waldrop. This is my co-host, Jansen Jasperson. Jance, it's another day in paradise. How we doing, brother?
Doing absolutely fantastic, buddy. The weather here in Texas is absolutely gorgeous. It's about 65 degrees, sun shining. It's a great day for some golf after I get done here. I'm gonna go hit some golf balls today. And man,
I think I'm gonna do the
I'm in,
same.
I'm in a great mood. The Houston Astros are rolling. College football is in full swing. Got some games that you and I are gonna address here in a minute that were absolutely crazy this weekend.
Oh
Shout out
yeah.
Cade Klubnik, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But other
Yep.
than that, how are you, buddy?
Hanging in there. Every day's a great day. Just thanking the good Lord. Woke me up again this morning,
I
giving
feel
me a
you.
chance to succeed. So
I got
I'm
you.
I'm excited to talk about some college football. I know it's a down week compared to the previous week, but I mean, nothing was going to be able to match up to that. So
Nah.
it's all good. It's always good to have some games going, though, for sure. I know we're going to talk about the games from this past week, preview the games for this upcoming week, and we're going to talk about a little college football playoff here in a second. So at
Cool.
the end, and then of course we're going to have the Beer Deer pick of the week as always. So
Sounds good. Well, let's get into it.
yes, sir.
If you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Going for Two podcast with Jason and Hunter. We post weekly on there. Turn on our notifications. There's a little bell that you can click in there. I think it's the top right hand corner. You can click the little bell and it'll turn on notifications for when we post, and it'll keep you updated so you don't have to go in every week and check to see if we've posted. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at going_for2. This week, Hunter sent out a tweet about Tennessee owning Dixieland Delight and Alabama, and it blew up. I think it's up to 900 likes now, like
Yeah, it's still
70
going.
something retweets.
Shout
It,
out Vol Twitter because they are ruthless.
they are ruthless,
Yeah,
but
that was insane. That was just random tweet, and Vol Twitter took it away. So shout out them. Except for
I wonder what they'll think when they find out we're dog fans, but they don't got to find that out.
yeah. Sorry
They
about
don't
my
gotta-
phone going off. I
no,
forgot to
you're
put it on
good.
silent.
You're good.
Oh
But
me.
make sure you follow us on Twitter. Hunter and I get on there every week and we send out tweets that we have talked about on the podcast, or games that we've talked about on the podcast, and games that we are watching throughout the weekend. So get on there and interact with us.
For
All right,
sure.
buddy. Well, let's
All
dive into
right,
this past week.
let's hop right on into it.
Oh,
Goodness
man.
gracious. Oh man, this one hurt because I mean I was sipping on that burnt orange Kool-Aid all week. I
Me
was
too.
so all in on Texas, and like the first three quarters they played really good, but Oklahoma State hung in there just enough to escape with the win. Quinn Ewers came back down to earth. He played like a freshman. He did. He
He
had
did.
like 3 picks, I believe. That one at the end, I know it went through the receiver's hands, but still, I mean, you should have never been in that position. They definitely played 3 good quarters, though. I mean, they were up by 2 touchdowns at one point, I believe, but Mike Gundy and the boys hanging in there, and I think that's a huge win for Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State, considering the fact that the previous week they had taken a loss to TCU. So now I feel like that gets their energy back up, and now they just control their own destiny to the Big 12 championship. So
Yes.
they
Yes.
they pulled that one out.
I was riding high on Quinn Christ and he let me down.
Quinn
He let me
Christ.
down. The Texas Longhorns let me down once again. But shout out Mike Gundy and the boys for getting the job done. Bouncing back after a tough loss to TCU, like you said, and getting back on track for what looks like a potential Big Big 12 championship for them. So
Oh yeah. And like the thing is like the resiliency in this team. I want to talk on just for a second because like when they were down by 2 scores to Texas, they could have easily just been like, "Well, we lost last week. We're about to lose this game," and just give up. But they hung in there. Their defense stepped up. I don't think Texas scored a single point in the second half. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't. And yeah, so that was a big. Um, I think that was the main thing that like powered them through is just their resiliency and like not giving up, even though they had every reason to. There at halftime, at the mainly in the middle of the second quarter, and I know Spencer Sanders, he was injured, and nobody really knew what he was going to be able to do. But at the end of the day, Big Mike Gundy and the boys got the win. And
Got the job now.
as far as Sark and Texas, I mean, yeah, you have 3 losses, but I don't feel like there's any reason for y'all to, give up, obviously. You're not going to make the Big 12 championship and you're not going to, make the playoff or anything, but Texas needs to go to a big bowl game and they need to win just to keep having that reassurance and get more recruits in and all that. So, and the future's bright. I mean, a bunch of these kids are young and still new to the program, and they need to, see this kind of, they need to suffer this kind of a loss. And I think Quinn Ewers needed that. That's his first loss as a starter.
It's a
And I
building
think
point for Texas.
it's definitely exactly it's a building block for them and as a program and Quinn Ewers as a quarterback. So
I agree. But yeah, shout out Mike Gundy and the boys for getting the job done.
but yeah,
Quinn,
Texas
shout
this
out you for
week.
letting me down again.
Yeah, Texas this week. They I think they're on a bye.
I think
And
they're
then
on this week too.
Oklahoma State, they play in Manhattan, Kansas to take on Kansas State. So
A dirty Kansas State team.
yeah, we'll talk more about them here in a little bit. So
Yeah. All right, let's dive into this past week and see what we got. Oh man.
I'll let you go first.
So this Clemson-Syracuse game I watched about 90% of. DJU looked awful, right?
No,
Looked absolutely terrible. Cade Klubnik came in and saved the day. Came in, they were down 21-7. They were down 21-7. And Cade Klubnik came in and
was
first
it
drive he came in.
21-7 or 20? I know it's
it
21-10 at halftime. So
I think it was 21-7.
I got
Cade
you.
Klubnik came in. No. He came in after the half, and first drive he came out, scored a touchdown. Next drive he came out and scored another touchdown, and put last possession of the game he went and scored a touchdown and edge Clemson past Syracuse. That Syracuse defense, bro, is dirty, and not just their defense, their entire team. They play dirty, very dirty, very physical, very. This is what Hunter would like to call in the trenches kind of game. And I mean, that's how you can describe this kind of game. I thought Syracuse played pretty good, and I thought Syracuse was going to knock off Clemson, but Cade Klubnik came in and saved the day. And I think that if I'm Dabo Swinney, it would be stupid for me to keep playing DJU. And I know you talked about what Dabo said you told me what Dabo said in the post game interview, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. He told DJ that Steph Curry shoots 2 for 25 sometimes, and then the CBS crew told him, Dabo, we did some research, and Steph Curry's never shot 2 of 25 in his entire life. And that was hilarious. But I mean, he's right. DJ is back to his old ways, and I think it's time for the era of Cade Klubnik.
So where I'll go for this is yes, Cade Klubnik did really good. He came in, you could tell. I think he is the guy, and I don't think he will be the guy though. I think Clemson will roll DJU back out there. I don't know if they have a bye week this week. I can't remember, but their next game, DJU will be the starting quarterback, and he will continue to be the starter until somebody. Excuse me, until he messes up again, until he has another 4 turnover first half game again, or until somebody beats him. But Klubnik's special, man. He's fast. He can do it with his arm. He's very smart. But and the thing is, like, nobody even blinked when they brought him in, so that was a huge thing. But I think a topic that nobody's really talking about because Clemson, because of Cade Klubnik, is how good Clemson's defense was. Clemson's defense didn't allow a single point in the second half. And that was the Clemson defense you and I had talked about in the preseason is can they step up? Can those leaders on the front seven step up? And they sure as heck did.
They did. Yeah.
That was huge for that defense, I believe. Syracuse, I don't know if they even got the ball past the 50 until that last drive when they were trying to tie the game up or whatnot. So that was crazy, though. DJU will be the starter for Clemson their next game. And like I said, until he gives them another reason to, they're not going to bench him. I mean, he has been playing good all year, and just wasn't his day that day. I mean, if he goes back out there next week and plays his tail off, there's no reason to have him bench. But shout out Dabo for having the guts to just pull his starter, who's been playing good all year, in the middle of the game and say, "All right, we're turning to the freshman." Not a lot of coaches can just turn around and do that.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart, just to name a few. I'm not talking about this year. I'm just talking about in years past with Jake Fromm and whatnot. But
Yeah. Justin Fields.
Syracuse, you had it, man. Y'all choked. You got to play 4 quarters. You played 3 great quarters. The fourth quarter, you fell apart. Another spotlight player I want to talk about is Will Shipley. That dude went off.
That dude is a dog.
When the ball was in his hands, big plays were happening. Much needed. He had a career day, something over 220 total yards, I believe. Really good running and receiving. That 50-yard touchdown at the end kind of sealed it up for him. But Syracuse, man, I will give you all the credit in the world because you hung in there, and especially at the beginning of this year, nobody thought that they would even be close. They thought their coach would be fired at this point in the season, and now they're still ranked in the top 25, I believe 16th, and well-deserved if you ask me. So, I mean, if the Fruit can keep on building what they got, I mean, they might be a little bit of a sleeper team for years to come in the ACC.
I agree. And, I mean, actually, no, that can't happen because Clemson would have to lose 2 games for them to be in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But the ACC championship is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But shout out I thought the Fruit played great.
I did too. They
Yeah.
just, everybody was telling them before the game, you have no chance, you have no chance, you have no chance. And, man, they would have played 4 quarters. They would have won this game. That doesn't matter when you only play 3.5. 2 big plays, though, that I want to discuss. The illegal hit out of bounds. That was an automatic first down on a 3rd and 20 something. It was like a 3rd and 21. That cost that. I don't know if that penalty's not made. And then, I think there was a late hit on Klubnik sliding or a face mask or a personal foul or something. There was 2 in the same drive.
A lot of self-inflicted wounds. So
yeah, and I feel like if you clear some of that stuff up, I mean, Syracuse could be the second best team in the Coastal or the Atlantic Division, I should say. I know they've still got to play like Wake Forest and NC State and teams like that, but we'll see. We're going to talk about them on the next slide. They got a big, technically it's a non-conference game, but might as well be a conference game this week against Notre Dame. And Clemson's got a bye, and the Tigers just got to run the table, and they're in. So
they do. But you can start with this Iowa-Ohio State game.
Well, let me just say, before the game even started, I mean, we all knew it was going to be a blowout. The line was at 30.5, and Ohio State still covered that by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Spencer Petras going into this game had less career touchdowns as a 4-year starter than CJ Stroud did this year through 7 games. So, yeah, and I mean, Ohio State's just got absolute dogs at wide receiver, best receiving corps, shocker there. I mean, they always have the best. But another thing is about Iowa is that, I mean, they were giving Ohio State the ball on like their own side of the 50 consistently with turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, a fake punt. I mean, all of it was just stupid.
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff. I mean,
looked like beamer ball.
The defense scored 7 points, and the offense only scored 3, which I'm really not surprised by at all. But, like, yes, Iowa's defense is good. I know that the 54 points says otherwise, but when you're consistently having to be on the field, not even in 3 and outs, just on consistent turnovers and always having to play on your side of the 50, it's not easy to keep a dominant offense like this under 54 points. So I ain't got a lot to say. Stroud's I think he's gonna win the Heisman. He's got his coming this week, so he's got his moment. Them boys from Ohio State got their moment coming this week. I got a feeling. I know that's our game of the week. They're going on the road to Happy Valley, take on Penn State, Iowa. I don't know who you're playing, and I really don't care. So,
Yeah.
but that's about all I got on that game.
I mean, I don't really have much on this game either. I'm just gonna make it kind of short and sweet. Man, Ohio State's because everybody was talking about how good this Iowa defense was, and if they really are that good, which I mean they are good, but this says otherwise. You let Ohio State score 54 points on you, like that should just show you how powerful Ohio State's offense is. It is absolutely insane. Shout out Mason Thomas for telling me stop riding Ohio State, but I'm not because, man, I think Ohio. I mean, I said at the beginning of the year, I think Ohio State's going to win it all, and I'm still sticking to that. I do still think that they are the most powerful team in college football right now, and Iowa just couldn't hold them. Yeah, their defense might be good, but Spencer Petras is god awful, and there's no way that he would have kept it anywhere close, other than the defense scoring points for him. So, but shout out CJ Stroud and the boys for getting the job done over Iowa, which you should have, and
Yeah,
covering by 2 touchdowns.
dominating fashion.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Another little dominant game right here in the Big Ten. I was not expecting it to be this wide of a margin of victory for Penn State, but they needed it after losing to Michigan. So 45-17 over the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. PJ Fleck, your boat's sunk, my brother. It is sunk. You're done for. Um,
Did you jump off in time?
I did. I did jump off in time. I jumped off after the Purdue game. So.
Smart.
But Penn State, definitely a team that does better when their running back's running good. True freshman, don't remember his name. He's number 13, but he's pretty solid. Sean Clifford, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's bad. He's just right there in the middle. He's an
He's
average,
mediocre.
Big Ten quarterback who can throw the ball about 20 times a game. But they're one of those teams that if they run the ball good, their offense opens up. So something to look out against Ohio State this week. We'll talk more about that game here in a little bit, but I ain't got a lot to say. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch too much of this game.
I didn't
I was
watch too much of this game
in
either, but all I
Tuscaloosa.
know is Penn State, you put a butt whooping on Minnesota and these
Yeah,
Golden Gophers. You turned these
yeah.
Golden Gophers blue because you
hmm
beat them so bad. But
But they needed this big win ahead of their top 15 matchup this week against Ohio State. So we'll see. But
it's
we'll
going
head
to be a
over
good
to.
matchup between Penn State and Ohio State, I think.
I don't. We'll head into the TCU Kansas State game. A little Big 12 action. Man, Kansas State, I'm not gonna say that you would have kept it closer if you're
Shout
first and
out
second.
TCU for being resilient. Like,
Yeah, this is the second time in 2 weeks that TCU has gone down in the fourth quarter by 2 possessions and come out with a win. I mean,
and they
it's
won
awesome
by
to see.
10.
They won by 10. Um, but Kansas State, I will say, I don't know how your quarterback situation's looking. Adrian Martinez goes down after playing about a drive and a half. Then your backup goes down, so you're stuck playing with the third string. So kind of makes me think, man, what if Martinez would have stayed healthy? Would this outcome would have been different? But who knows? He got hurt, and everybody's got injuries going on. You got to play with what you got. So,
Yep.
but the fact that they kept it this close with the third stringer, Kansas State's a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think they are too. I think they're a pretty solid team. You and I
I'm
were
very,
talking about how they would be a sleeper team and they'd beat some teams that they shouldn't, and then they would lose to teams that they shouldn't. I thought they should have won this game with how big the winning or like the margin was because they were leading by like I think the biggest lead they had was like 17 points at one point.
yeah, no, it was
And
definitely a resilient effort from TCU and Max Duggan. I mean, Sonny
Max
Dykes got
Duggan
them
is
boys playing, man. Max Duggan's one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch in college football right
absolutely,
now. So,
absolutely. But yeah, shout out TCU for staying undefeated and sneaking past Kansas State.
yeah, for sure.
I wonder how
For sure.
long they'll be undefeated for. I don't think there will be a single team in the Big 12 that stays undefeated.
Me either. I just don't see it happening.
Neither do I.
Um, I mean, there's only one left, so
Yep.
we'll see.
Somebody's gonna
They
knock them
they
off.
I think TCU has a bye week this upcoming week.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. No, they don't. They play against West Virginia
They do
in
play against West
Morgantown
Virginia and West Virginia.
at 12 o'clock. Watch out, JT Daniels might pull it off.
No.
I
No.
know they played terrible this past week, but
JT
he had
Daniels says, I'm sorry,
against
but
Texas Tech.
I'm sorry. I love JT, but he's played like crap this year.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a lot to work with either, but still, he has not played to the level I thought he would. But hey, you say no, but that's when crazy stuff happens. You never know. This is why you play the games.
Exactly. The most unexpected things happen in college football. So
That's right. I'm just saying. I will definitely. I
like
think
this
TCU.
LSU Ole Miss game.
I know. I think TCU is a 7.5 point favorite on the road. It might be 14.5, but I think it's 7.5, and I'm considering taking the Mountaineers and the points if that line keeps growing. So I
If it
just
keeps
don't
growing,
know.
yeah.
I just don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll move over to the Pac-12, and holy crap, this score! I know it says it was 15 points. This does not reflect
How
how
bad
bad
Oregon.
Oregon whooped UCLA. I
Bo
mean,
Nix
just
looked like
took them
freaking Joe
into the
Montana. Like,
just took into the backyard, took a hickory off a limb, and just whooped them. I mean, my gosh, Bo Nix was 25 of 28, 23 of 28, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Who's ever known him to throw the ball like that? Big game Bo.
I mean, I guess Bo's feeling it. Bo
I guess
has
so.
his confidence way up this year.
And he's running the ball good too. So I
Yeah.
mean, and shout out Dan Lanning, man, and this
Yeah.
just the Oregon program in general. Everybody was like, "Yeah, first year head coach, not going to do anything." I understand that Cristobal recruited most of those players, but a lot of those players left too, and Dan Lanning had to go into the transfer portal and find some starters.
Facts.
And after a week 1 obliteration by Georgia, this team could have given up, and now they have not turned around once. They just kept going to work. They keep going to work every single day, and now they are in the driver's seat for the Pac-12. Um, I think they will probably end up making it to the title game because I know it's the best 2 conference records. It's not even divisions, but I really don't care. I don't know if I know Oregon has Utah on their schedule left, but besides that, I don't see a regular season test. Maybe Oregon State in the Civil War at the end of the year, but I mean, the Ducks are looking good if they can keep playing like they are. I mean, it would be a team to consider. Not saying put them in. There has to be a lot of chaos to happen, I think, to put a Pac-12 team in. But if they go and run the rest of the table and win the Pac-12, they might be heavy considerate to make the playoff.
I mean, I think if they blow everybody out, if they play like this against everybody they play here on forward, I think they got a shot at making the playoffs for sure. But
For
I
sure.
think they would have to blow everybody out like this to make it a consideration.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And as far as UCLA goes, like, dude, their season's not over by any stretch. These 2 teams can meet again in the Pac-12 championship game.
They can definitely bounce back from this.
Yeah,
DTR is playing good football this year. I mean, Oregon, man, that should
they get
just. I love seeing Oregon do good because it just shows how good Georgia is.
that's right. Hey, I got a quick little question while we're on the topic.
What's up?
What's a more impressive resume? Beating the number 9 team now in the country by 46 points, and beating the number 25 team in the country by 41 points, I believe it was, or beating the number 6 team in the country by 3 points and beating number 18 team in the country by 27 points, which is more impressive out of those 2?
The first one.
Yeah, the first team was Georgia and the second team was Tennessee. So we'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. Voltards, don't think I forgot about you.
No, but hang on. I want to address something since we're on that topic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to Heisman talk. Okay.
Okay,
And I'm just
Heisman
saying this
talk.
to get this out here. I'm not saying this just because I'm a Georgia fan, but numbers don't lie. Okay. Stetson Bennett has 4 passing touchdowns on the year, 2 rushing. I think he had 0 interceptions. And okay, he has 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 2-0 record against a top 25 team. If you go and you look at CJ Stroud, you go look at Bryce Young, and you go look at Hendon Hooker, he's better than all of those people against top 25 teams. CJ Stroud hasn't played a single top 25 team yet. Penn State will be his first team this week. Bryce Young lost to Tennessee, and then Hendon Hooker has thrown 5 touchdowns? He threw
5
5
touchdowns.
touchdowns against Bama.
Well, how many did he throw against LSU?
I don't know how much he threw against LSU.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Hendon Hooker has a better record than Stet, but
Yeah.
but
But I
still,
can see, as far as win totals go, I can see where you're coming from, but I think all 3 of those players, uh, should be considered for the Heisman way in front of Stetson, but I do
no,
understand where
I'm
you're
just
coming
saying, like,
from.
if you compare them to top 25, like, matchups, because I saw a thing the other day on Twitter, and they were talking about how, like, CJ Stroud against top 25 teams, and then Bryce Young against top 25 teams, and then Hendon Hooker against top 25 teams. And then I went and I looked at stats, and I mean, he has better stats than they do, so.
Yeah, this year, Stetson, he has not thrown a lot of touchdowns, but he has thrown for a lot and a lot of yards.
Yards, yes.
They just get down there towards the goal line and punch them with the running back, which there's nothing wrong with. I mean, Kirby's not out here trying to produce a Heisman Trophy winner. He's out here trying to win a national championship.
Exactly.
So, at
He
the end of the day, that's that.
Kirby Smart's not a individual award kind of guy. He's a team reward kind of guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we'll move on to the SEC now that we're talking about them. LSU put a second half beat down on Lane Kiffin. Shout out Brian Kelly. Everybody and their brother kind of rode off LSU, I should say, after week 1 to Florida State. Then they got some bounce back wins, and people were like, oh, yeah, whatever. Then as soon as they played Tennessee, everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're done. They're no good. They're no good. And then now they went at home against a top 10 team, being unranked at the time, and get a pretty big win for the program, and that was a much needed win for Brian Kelly. They're 6-2, first in the SEC West right now. So that'll be interesting to see. They're on a bye week this week, and then they go back home and take on the Crimson Tide of Alabama. So that's going to be an awesome
That's
game.
going to be an awesome game in Death Valley.
You get LSU, Alabama, and Georgia versus Tennessee in the same day. You pretty much find out who your 2 teams
Who
in
your
the
top
SEC
dogs are.
championship.
Yeah.
You're finding out who's playing in the SEC championship next Saturday. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
That'll be
As
cool.
far as Ole Miss goes, man, like you came out hot. You were up 17-3 at one point. LSU, you can't start slow. That's been their issue all year. Their 2 biggest issues, I think, starting slow and letting the team get out to a big lead. Like Tennessee had a big lead 3 minutes into the game against them, and then special teams miscues, I think, have been hurting them too. But Jaden Daniels stepped up. He's looking like a better quarterback every week, which is huge.
Yeah, he is.
And Jackson Dart, man, it seemed like he was getting pressure in his face constantly. He hadn't played in that kind of an environment, and I don't think that helped at all. They couldn't get their run game going in the second half and kind of just fell apart. So, but I think the Lane Train, I mean, they have, I think the hardest remaining schedule. They got to go on the road to A&M this week. They still got to play Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi State. So their next 4 games.
That's a tough stretch. That's almost as bad as Georgia's.
Yeah, it's like A&M this week, then they have a bye week next week, then they play Bama, Arkansas, and they finish out the year with Mississippi State. So it's gonna be rough for the Lane Train. Are they gonna go 7-5? They're gonna start out 7-0 and finish 7-5. I hope not.
I don't think so. I don't think
know.
so. But I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
We shall see.
But
we'll stay in the SEC West right here.
I want to add on to this LSU Ole Miss game real quick.
Okay, you go ahead.
So the thing that I know about this Ole Miss team is this was their first their real first road test this year. Jackson Dart has never played in an environment like Death Valley. And LSU was rocking. LSU's offense was looking pretty good. Jaden Daniels, like you said, was playing absolutely great this game. But like you said about starting slow, LSU, if you want to beat Bama and you want to give Bama a run for their money, you can't start slow. You got to come out hot. That's the way Tennessee did. That's what whatchamacallit did. Texas did. They like both these teams came out hot and gave Alabama a run for their money. So if you can figure out how to come out and play like you did the last 2 quarters of this game against Bama, all 4 quarters, I mean, I think you have a shot at beating them because this Bama team, as you can tell, when it beaten Mississippi State by only 24 points, is not who everybody thought they were going to be this year. Like, I think, like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Like, I don't think Alabama is the best team in the SEC. Like, I either think it's Tennessee or Georgia, but I mean, we shall see. But like we always say, the best team doesn't always win. It's the team that wants it more. So,
That's right.
and
That's
these
right.
kids at Bama have got some dog in them and have a lot of fight in them. So, definitely,
Yeah, that
definitely will
brand
be
name
hanging
sure,
around. Yeah,
that brand name sure does help.
yeah. Like Mike Leach said, if you wear
Man,
an
hang on.
Alabama jersey, people are scared of you.
Hang on. Let me get to that here in a second.
But you can go ahead with this Mississippi State Alabama game. That's all I wanted to say about Ole Miss LSU.
No, you're good. Yeah, I got the luxury of being at this game. Thank you, Jameson, for inviting me. I greatly appreciate you, brother. That was an awesome trip. Didn't get back till 4:30 the next morning to Georgia. Yeah, I went to sleep about 5 o'clock, and uh, I slept till 1 a.m. or not 1 a.m., 1 p.m. But this was a fun game. It was kind of a very boring second half. Just because I really wanted to see Alabama's offense light it up. Um, but they didn't. I think Will Reichert had 4 field goals, which he really, really needed. He needed 4 field goals. He needed a good game. After that,
Tennessee
after
game.
that, well, not even Tennessee, but A&M too.
Yeah.
He needed it, and so that was good for him. But man, Bryce Young he wasn't completing as many passes as I thought. I think Mississippi State, yes, I know they gave up 30 points, but like I said, I think 4 of them were field goals. I could be wrong on that stat, but I'm pretty sure it was 4. Bama had more points than rushing yards, I believe. I could be wrong about that too. There was some stat about how their rushing yards were low. I think they had 249 passing yards after Bryce Young got taken out or something. They didn't look very good on offense. Um, They didn't at the end of the day. And Mississippi State, they had plenty of chances in this first half to keep this ball game close. I'm not saying that they would have won. I'm just saying Mike Leach was going for it on his own 25-yard line on a 4th and 2. Like Mike Leach went for like 5 or 6 fourth downs.
Yeah,
He
he
just
did.
did not care. He did not care. And then it ramped up after his field goal kicker missed a field goal at the end of the second half. He was like, "Oh, I'm sure as heck not going to kick no field goal now." But the thing is, that they were running the ball way too well in Alabama. Mississippi State, if you've watched any of their games this year, they're
They
not
don't
good at
run the
running.
ball.
They're not good at running the ball. They don't throw it deep. They throw a lot of underneath. They throw a lot of screens, and those are their running plays. But they were handing the ball off and making Alabama like it. And if a team like that's doing that to Alabama's defense, it's a little scary.
What's a running back core like Georgia gonna do to them if they
That's what
play them
I'm
in the
saying.
SEC
If they're
championship?
playing a little bit of a better, team up front, but a little bit better of a team with more confidence, a better running back, it's a little scary if I'm Alabama. But I think another thing is, they weren't expecting it, but still, I don't use that as an excuse. Will Rogers, man, I mean, I feel bad for you. Your receivers couldn't catch hardly anything. And when they did, they were out of bounds. Like, they couldn't catch a break. Bama's defense did play overall a solid game. I mean, they had a shutout until the very last play of the game. They gave up a touchdown at the very end.
Yeah.
Um, Literally the last play, they had a handoff up the middle, but besides that, they had a shutout. So they covered the 21 points. Shout out to anybody that had 23.5. You still didn't cover. Anybody that had
Harvick's
23 and a
bashing.
half, that was the closing line. So I feel bad for you if you had that. But if you had Mississippi State plus 23.5, I feel bad because that's a terrible beat. If they would have let them kick the extra point at the end, you would have covered.
Yeah.
So, but Mike Leach, I want to talk about this. After the game, me and James were listening to this on the radio, or not the radio, we pulled it up on YouTube. And this man just told it. He essentially said his players suck. I mean, straight up, they had
No,
a
yeah,
few of the,
basically. He didn't say that directly, but he kind
yeah,
of beat around the bush
he
saying
pretty
that.
much said they were all scared. And they asked him, something along the lines of, what was the biggest reason for this deficit of a loss? And he's like, well, if you put an Alabama jersey on somebody, our players just, they get scared. They don't want to line up. They just scared of the name Alabama. We could put a jersey on you right now and line you up against our players, and they wouldn't play to their full effort because they're scared of the name Alabama. And I was just like, dang. And
Just
then
firing shots at
and
his
then was
team.
throwing shots, and he essentially then goes on some rant about evolution and dinosaurs and something about how when he was a kid and this, that, and the other, and essentially said, like, called out his lack of his defensive lineman's lack of physicality for not using their hands and his wide receivers' lack for not catching the ball. And he said that if him and his coaching staff don't get their stuff together, that their players that they have right now on their roster, when they have children and they have grandchildren, they won't know how to use their hands, or they'll just disappear because they don't know how to use them correctly in Starkville, Mississippi right
Bro, that
now.
freaking interview is
And
crazy.
that I
That is
highly recommend anybody listens to this, go listen to Mike Leach's post-game
Here,
interview.
this is what we'll do after the show. Once we post this up on YouTube, we'll retweet the link to that video and y'all can go watch it.
Okay.
It is a
Yeah.
great video.
Yeah.
It
It
is a
is
great
it is
video for anybody
hilarious.
that
It
wants
is
to see it.
awesome. Yeah. He's always just a national treasure on the mic, but that just made it awesome.
Yeah, he is.
But Mississippi State, I don't know who you're playing this week. I don't know if you play anybody. I know there's this week and last week, last week and then this week. There's a bunch of buys for like SEC teams.
SEC schools.
I know Bama's on a bye week this week. Then they go to Death Valley to play LSU. So we shall see. But yeah, that wraps up week 8, and now it's time
go
for
week.
week 9. Are we? We're 3/4 into the season, Jance.
Sadly.
Sadly, it's almost November now.
Yep.
In a few days. So, but let's roll into week 9, my brother.
So the game of the week for the Going for Two podcast is the Ohio State Buckeyes are traveling to Penn State, to State College in Pennsylvania, to play the Penn State the Lions.
It's pronounced the Nittany Lions, Jansen.
Yeah, there you go.
You
I can't say it. Don't try
Just
to
call
make
them the Joe Paws.
What's up?
Just call them the Joe Paws.
The Joe Pauls.
Yeah, that's Joe Paterno.
Oh, okay.
He's the GOAT. That's what I don't know. All right. Yeah, Ohio State. This is their first ranked matchup of the year. First ranked matchup of the year. They're over 2 touchdown favorites. They're going on the road to a pretty hectic environment, but here's the huge but. They play at 12 o'clock. It's not like they're playing at 8 o'clock.
What?
Yeah, this is big noon kickoff.
Why? Hey, but you know who we're gonna get covering this game?
Who?
Gus Bus.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have the GOAT, Gus Johnson, and Joel Klatt covering the game. That's always awesome. Yeah, no, this game's at 12 o'clock, so that home field factor has very, very little play. Nowhere near as much as it would if they were playing at prime time. So
yeah, at night, yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready to roll right on into it. I know we both have score predictions, but I will say this just as a few, previews before we get deep into our thoughts or whatnot. But CJ Stroud, obviously the Heisman front runner. Him and Hendon Hooker, I would say, are 1 and 2 right now. Ohio State ranked number 2 in the nation. Their defense, led by Jim Knowles as a DC, has been doing very good, improving, week by week, like we said they would in the preseason. I know that their best wins are just, I don't know, is Iowa. They haven't played anybody. They have not been tested. That's the biggest thing. Everybody's going to say, well, Ohio State hasn't been tested and they're going on the road. It's going to be a tough environment. And yeah, so that's kind of their situation. Penn State, they have one loss. They've already lost to Michigan, so they have to win out if they want a shot at the Big Ten championship. They had a huge confidence builder last week against Minnesota after dropping a huge L to Michigan. They are now coming back home. They had a big win against Auburn this year. That when Big Ten teams play SEC teams and win, no matter. Yeah, I mean, if Penn State would have beat Vandy, they would have thought it was a Super Bowl. And they think it's that big of a deal up there. And just come down here to the state of Georgia and play me one good time. But anyways, besides the point, they wouldn't stand a chance. They do have more confidence. They are physical up front. They like to keep the game slowed down. Ohio State likes a more fast-paced tempo, so we're going to see how those two things. Whoever has the ball more and whoever gets it first, I'd say if Penn State gets the ball first and they can run it good, it's going to be a little bit more low-scoring game at least for the first half. And then if Ohio State gets it and they score first on their first possession and their defense gets a stop, this game's over.
Yeah, you might as well just pack your bags and head on out.
Yeah, so that's kind of the outside looking in. So I'll let you hop right on in to the next slide. I guess I put them both on there this time. So
yeah, you did.
I'll let
So
you
I'll
go
go ahead
first.
and talk about mine first, and then you can talk about yours. So I think, I mean, you just said it. People are saying this is the first test for Ohio State, and it is in a tough environment and whatnot. And I think that's true. I think that this Penn State team is honestly good. Like, I mean, they haven't proven anything to me that they aren't good. So I think that they will give Ohio State a run for their money, but I think Ohio State does obviously win because they are the better team. But I mean, you never know. The good team doesn't always win. But I mean, I think Ohio State takes care of business pretty easily. And I will take Penn State plus 15.5. But if I were to take somebody to win the game, I would take Ohio State for sure. I think since it's in state college, I know it's a noon game, but still, like these kids in state college, I have a buddy that goes up there and I look at his Instagram and his Snapchat all the time for games at like 11 and they're up at like 7 o'clock in the morning pregame and like they're serious about their college football up there. And I think that these fans will be riled up for Ohio State coming into their place. And we got to see what Ohio State does against the top 25 teams. So for the first time this year, this will be the real test for them. This will really show you how good Ohio State is.
You're a square.
Hey, man. Somebody's got to be the square. I can be the square. You can be the sharp. I don't care.
It's fine.
I don't care.
Explain the terminology to our listeners, please.
So a square is somebody that – so let's say you were going into a book to make a bet, okay? And there was like this – let's use this for example, okay? You see Penn State plus 15.5 against Ohio State at home. A square would normally go in and take Penn State because like that's kind of like the more like what more people would ride. And the square or the sharp is somebody that rides like the opposite, who goes off of numbers and goes off of like percentage of like money and things like that. So I'm the square in this situation. Hunter's the sharp because he thinks that Ohio State covers the 15.5 pretty easily, but I just don't see it happening, man.
I think the best way to explain a square and a sharp is last week when 7th-ranked Ole Miss was playing against non-ranked LSU, and LSU was favored.
That's a great example.
Everybody was like, "Oh, Ole Miss is going to cover 3 points. They're going to win outright. There's no way LSU wins. They're trash." And then the Sharps like, "I don't know." And they see LSU's favored for a reason, and they take it. So I think that's the best way to explain it. But back to this game, I am playing the sharp role in this situation because I'm calling my shot. This is going to be C.J. Stroud's Heisman moment game. This is going to be the game that they look back at the end of the year like, yep, this is when he won the Heisman. And I'm very –
No, it's not. He's not. I don't think this is going to be his moment. I think his moment will be against Michigan.
You know what? I didn't really even think about that, but I could definitely see it. But I think this is going to be maybe like a baby Heisman moment because it's the first time all year Ohio State's played a ranked team. And yes, we said they're going on the road. They're playing in a tough environment. The only argument I have for you and, yes, I'm not saying that Happy Valley at State College is not a tough environment to play in. But playing at noon versus playing at night is two different ball games. And I think the best way we saw that was when Tennessee went on the road to LSU this year. Completely different. They played at
Yeah.
noon, and Tennessee whooped them up and down the field. So that was just kind of my first thoughts. And I had to come down off my high horse because when I put this score in earlier this morning, I originally had it at I think it was 56-17. But I need to be a little bit more realistic. I just don't think Penn State stands a chance because I think Michigan is just as good, if not better. Yeah, you heard me. I think Michigan is just as good, if not better, than Ohio State. You heard me correctly. And after what I saw Michigan do to them, especially in that second half, I think Michigan's defense is better than Ohio State's defense, but I think Ohio State's versatility to throw the ball makes them better on offense versus Michigan.
Yeah.
So when you have a better quarterback than Michigan does, and you have better receivers than Michigan does, I don't know, man. I'm not too confident in Penn State to keep it close. Like I said, I think Stroud's just going to go off. He's going to have his little baby Heisman moment, and he's going to go in there. Everybody's talking. The momentum of people talking has shifted. I've kind of noticed, like as a nation, as far as college football goes, everybody was chirping Georgia, for playing bad and still being ranked number one, which they deserved. And now Georgia's they're still number one, but the talk has been more focused on Ohio State for not playing anybody now.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's going to be on Penn State. Everybody thinks it's going to be a close game, and I'm going against what everybody's saying. I think Ohio State's going to go in there. They're going to take care of business. Penn State's going to have very little confidence because I think Ohio State's run defense is very, very good, and Sean Clifford has not ever proven to me that anything in his 12 years he's played at Penn State that he can throw the ball.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I don't know. I think Ohio State, they have I'm not saying obviously they don't have their backs up against the wall, but between their ears they do. They have no choice but to go in there and prove that they're legit, and I think they will.
Yeah. I mean, I think I could see this happening for sure. I think Ohio State could blow out Penn State, but I'm gonna be a square for. I don't know how to make a square with my hands. I'm gonna be the square for the day.
You're good. You're good.
I'm gonna be the square.
But yeah, I'm taking Ohio State to cover the 15. So, but we have another week slate. You hate to see it.
This will go by pretty quick.
Yeah, this one will go by pretty
Yeah.
fast. 'Cause I don't know. There's just not a lot I could put on here this week, but that's okay. I mean, not every week. I mean, there's still exciting games to talk about. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. So Michigan State, who has been terrible. I don't even remember their record, dude. They're 3-4. 3-4, I believe,
Terrible.
or 4-3, something like that. I think they're 3-4. Going on the road to Ann Arbor across the state to take on Michigan. Michigan is 22-point favorites. That is a huge margin. But here's a stat. I might change your mind, Jansen, because I know you wanted to put Michigan minus 22.
Oh yeah.
Mel Tucker's never lost to Jim Harbaugh in 3 years.
I don't care. There's gonna be his time where he loses.
I don't care either. I'm taking Michigan in the 22.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I don't care if it's 15.
I was really
years.
hoping I could get in your head. I was really hoping I can get in your
Nah,
head.
you can't. Nah, because this Michigan team is legit.
Yeah,
Blake
Donovan
Corum,
Edwards
JJ
and
McCarthy.
Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and you got JJ slinging it, dude. They're just dangerous. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing with a lot of confidence.
In the words
Like
of
I
Pat
said, man,
McAfee, they're some dogs.
they are some dogs. And Michigan State's got a lot to improve, especially on actually all the way around, but especially running the ball on offense and then the backside and the secondary on defense. So they're just not ready yet. And I know Mel Tucker's had Jim Harbaugh's number for 2 years, maybe 3 years now. I can't remember, but I don't care. Michigan's playing with way too much confidence, and they're at
In
home.
Ann Arbor, yeah, nah.
Yeah, give me the Wolverines and the 22 points.
Yeah, go Big Blue. I'm gonna take 22 as well.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the ACC / Notre Dame. I actually have this flopped. I flipped this up on accident. this is supposed. The home team's always on the right, just for record. Anybody didn't know that already. Syracuse is playing at home. Notre Dame is on the road traveling to New York, and I just want
Playing
to
in the
clear that
dome.
up. Yep. Syracuse not lost in the dome. Obviously, they only lost one game this year so far, but they play. I think they play better when they are at home. So,
yeah.
Chance, I'm gonna give this one to you first. Who you taking and why?
I'm taking the Q. I'm taking the fruit. -3. Man, Notre Dame, we've seen them this year. Their quarterback situation is not good. I mean, Marcus Freeman, I don't think he's doing all that at Notre Dame, really. I think this is kind of like a get a feel of what you're going to do there year kind of thing. And I think the Syracuse offense, the Syracuse defense is too much for this Notre Dame offense. And I'm going to take the fruit -3. But, I mean, this Syracuse team is a hard fighting team. They are a dirty team. They are a in the trenches kind of team. And, I mean, they've shown this year that they're one of the best in the ACC. So I think that Syracuse gets it done and covers 3 pretty easily.
Yep.
But might be square of me, but I don't care.
Well, I will not be betting on this game. I do.
Oh
think
no, I wouldn't either. I'm just like on the show.
No, I understand. I was just saying, just to clarify, but I think this game, I think they got the line right. I just think as far as matchups go, I think they're pretty even. I know that Notre Dame, obviously, yes, like you said, this is a development year for Marcus Freeman as a head coach and for the team as a program, which I think that's okay because they have a really good recruiting class coming in.
Yeah.
They're going to be good, and I believe in Marcus Freeman. But sometimes it's hard to believe in Marcus Freeman whenever you lose to Cal. I know you didn't lose to Cal, Stanford. I mean, you lose to Stanford, but then you beat a good one-loss North Carolina team. I don't know. It's just
so up and down.
Everything's in the air.
They're so inconsistent.
Yeah. And with Syracuse being at home, I am going to take them to win. And I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. I don't have a side as far as covering goes.
Okay. I got you.
I might just take Syracuse money line and call it a day. Actually, you know what? It's only 3 points. It's not going to hurt my point system. I'll take Syracuse -3.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll just get no points or 2.
Yeah. So. I was about to say, you might as well just say a side because the only thing that can happen is it.
Yeah. I know you're crawling back on me over here, and I don't appreciate it. Next week we'll put our little standings up. How about that, so everybody can see?
So everybody can see how close it is. I was down bad.
You were down by like 12, and now
12 points.
Down by 2.
Yeah, I'm crawling back. We're on
plenty of time. All right. Well, now we're gonna head to Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and yes, you see this correctly. Kansas State is 1.5 point favorites.
Trap line.
You go ahead. You tell me what you're doing.
I think it's a trap line. I think it's for squares like me, but I'm not going to be too square here. I think losing Adrian Martinez is because is he going to play next week?
Nobody knows.
If he doesn't play, I'm taking Mike Gundy and the boys. But if he plays, then I don't know because Kansas State's beaten some teams this year that we did not think that they should.
I'll go. And that's exactly what I was going to say. We could have like an if-then agreement.
Yeah.
If Adrian Martinez plays, I'm taking
Kansas State -1.5.
Yes. But if he doesn't play, I don't care if it's a second or third string. I am taking Oklahoma State to win. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. That's like an if-then type of thing. But Martinez looks good, and Kansas State would only be a one-loss team if he didn't go down last week. I think they would have beaten TCU.
I think so too.
But hey, if we keep doubting Mike Gundy and the boys, they can keep proving us wrong at the same time. So I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. So I'll just leave it as Martinez plays. I'm going to ride with the Wildcats. If he doesn't play, I'm going to take the Cowboys.
I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, you know what?
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. You know you don't want to.
Oh, I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. I think Oklahoma State wins no matter if Adrian Martinez plays.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Kansas State wins no matter what.
No, nah. I think Oklahoma State wins no matter what.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see it.
Because
I think
honestly, like them and TCU, I think are the top 2 teams in the Big 12 for sure.
me as well.
Yeah.
Me as well.
The most powerful teams is
They
Oklahoma
play.
State and
They play.
TCU.
They play most consistent. I should
Yes.
say, talent-wise, Texas still has the best roster.
Yes.
I don't care if they have 3
Absolutely.
losses.
Bro, I just don't
Alright.
get Texas. Like,
Well, you obviously don't understand this team that's like an hour away from you either on the next row.
yeah, I do. They suck. They need to bench all their senior. Me and my dad were talking about it today at breakfast. They need to bench all their seniors. Here, we can move on to that game now. They need to bench all their seniors, and they need to start the kids that they're going to play next year so they all get a feel of what needs to happen. But you aren't going to do that to the senior group. But
Texas
I think you
A&M.
should. I think it'd be smart.
Texas A&M really went from being ranked 6th in Desmond Howard's and they were in Desmond Howard's playoff prediction as the number 1 seed. They went from that, and now they are sitting with a 3-4 record for the first time under Jimbo Fisher with a losing record and fighting for a spot to go to the Birmingham Bowl. I don't know if they can do it.
I don't think they go to the bowl this year.
They might not. They might not, and this is sad. By the way, Alabama only beat them by like 1 possession, so
It just shows you how great Alabama is this year.
Well, Bryce Young was hurt. I don't care. So was
I don't
Max
care.
Jones.
That freaking the Heisman hype has gotten to him.
Nah. Well, he played good against Tennessee, but Mississippi State, he looked rough. He did not look like Bryce Young, that's for sure. Hey, these are 2 teams off of 2 losses of games that I think both of these teams could have won. I don't know, man. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, they're going on the road. They're beat up. They are 2.5-point favorites. I'm taking A&M to win.
Okay. See, my thing is like A&M. So they aren't playing Haynes King. They aren't playing Max Johnson. They're playing Connor Wegman. He's a freshman this year. He's from Bridgeland. I've talked about him on the pod before. And last year, man, he looked like last week, he looked like crap. Like absolute dog doo-doo. And I think Ole Miss will bounce back from the LSU loss. And what time does this game kick off? You know?
I don't know. I think it's 12 o'clock.
Okay, if it's 12 o'clock, then yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss minus 2.5.
Let me check for you real quick on the good old telephone. God, I can't wait to get rid of this thing. I'm switching to the flip phone.
I think Jackson Dart comes back, be resilient, bounces back from the loss he had at LSU.
This game's at 7:30.
7:30?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm going to take A&M plus 2.5. Just because of Kyle Field, bro.
Yep, I understand. I mean, obviously,
man, it's such an impact.
There'd be no other reason why you'd switch up like that. So
yeah. Just because of the environment that Texas A&M plays in, and I went to the Bama game last year. There was nothing like it. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm gonna take because I mean it's basically the same situation as Death Valley. So
yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if Ole Miss can until they can prove to me that they can win a game on the road against an SEC team. I'm not going to choose them to win. That was kind of my thing. All right, well, we're heading back to Rocky Top. They are 12.5-point favorites, hosting the 19th ranked Kentucky Wildcats. This game's gonna be closer than what people think. This game's gonna be closer than what people think.
I think it's gonna be close too.
I think after a huge win against Alabama, yes, I know they beat up on doormat Tennessee Martin yesterday, or not yesterday, but Saturday, and won like 65-17 or whatever it was. But
freaking crazy.
They played Georgia after they play Kentucky. This is the definition of a look-ahead spot. Kentucky's defense has played solid. I've seen them play very, very good. I've also seen them play very, very bad. They are especially good against the run and underneath routes, but as far as deep ball goes, they're kind of questionable. So that I think that's where Tennessee has the advantage. I'm picking Tennessee to win the game. Don't get me wrong.
Me too. But
But
I think Kentucky covers 12.5.
I think Kentucky will cover 12.5 because I think they're going to slow the game down. They play such a different style of ball than Tennessee does. They are very, very run heavy, very Chris Rodriguez, very Will Levis on screen passes, short. They don't air it out. They run their own game. They have their own slow tempo. So kind of like a Penn State, Ohio State, except I feel like it's like to the extremes. Like Penn State, yeah, they play moderately slow. Ohio State plays moderately fast. Tennessee plays very, very, very fast. Kentucky plays very, very, very slow.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
Yeah.
see. And I think those are kind of equal out. And I don't know if Tennessee can. I don't know. I just see it as a look ahead spot right now. If they were playing like South Carolina next
Pretty
week, I'd
trap
take
game.
Tennessee. I'd take Tennessee to win by 12.5, obviously. But since they're playing Georgia next week, I don't know. I'm going to take Kentucky to cover 12.5, but I am going to pick the Vols to win. So did you
Me
see what
too.
they're
I'm
doing
doing
to
the
their
same thing as
stadium?
you.
Did you see what they're doing to their stadium this weekend?
No, what are they doing?
They're wearing their black uniforms and they're going to do the checkerboard, except with white. They're going to do black and orange
That's
checkerboard.
cool.
So, yeah.
That's cool. But
So
yeah,
I'm
I
glad.
think not really much to say. You basically covered it exactly how I was going to say it. I
Good.
think Kentucky covers 12.5, but I think Tennessee wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It is my favorite time of year.
Oh, rivalry. This is like the greatest rivalry in college football right here.
Maybe for us because we're Georgia.
For us, yeah.
What's up,
I think the
Florida?
best might be Michigan, Ohio State, but
Hang on, let me make sure that's working correctly.
here we go.
Hey, Florida. How are we doing? How you
How was
doing?
that L to the bye week you took?
I heard you gave up 350 yards of offense to the bye week this past week. AR-15 stolen. He didn't get any ammo. Oh man, that sucks.
Academy's all out of ammo, man.
Man, he ran out. He used all of his rounds week 1 against Utah. It looked like. Man, Jansen, did you know this is the largest spread in the history of this game?
I did not know that.
Yeah, this is the largest the team's ever been favored, and let me just tell you, it's going to continue to grow. This line will be probably 24.5 before Saturday at 3:30 at kickoff. All right, is this a 3:30 game? I don't even
Yeah,
know. I think it is. It has
it
to
is.
be. It's Georgia, Florida. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, Sunbelt Billy, how we doing? Man, are y'all gonna make a
Sunbelt
bowl
Billy.
game? You gonna make a bowl game this year? Because are you really gonna beat South Carolina? They're ranked. They're ranked. They're 25th.
You're not.
Are you? Wait, Anthony Richardson has a worse QBR than Brady Cook at Missouri? Man, how bad are you? Wait, Vandy's quarterback has a better QBR than Anthony Richardson? It took you 4 weeks to throw a touchdown pass? You couldn't throw one against South Florida? Wow. Wow, that is just insane.
What you
So
gonna do,
Georgia's
Hunt?
22.5-point favorites. Give me the Dogs 41-13. How about them?
41-13. I like the prediction. But I don't think Florida scores 13 points.
I'm being a little generous, giving them a little garbage time touchdown. We
I
got to
ain't
pull our
giving them.
starters. We're going to pull our starters to make sure that they're well and rested so we can get after that Hendon Hooker ass next week. I don't care. I'll cuss one time on the show.
You're
I've
good.
been holding it in.
We're adults. We got adults listening to this show,
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
But
We've kept it PG through 9 weeks.
yeah, we can. Yeah, we did. But
And I'm going to continue to keep it PG, but oh gosh, I'm so ready for Tennessee. But I will say, I know I was just riding my high horse and crapping on Florida. This could be a low key trap game and a look ahead game for Georgia too. But
yeah.
I think because of the bye week and because we know we have this tough stretch ahead of us that we're going to come out guns blazing. AR-15 sucks. You saw my story today and the business investment I made on the Dogs this morning, which will be disclosed on this show. This will be disclosed on the show. But yes, I have Georgia covering 22.5 points against Florida. So
For all the
Oh.
coin. He's trying to be Hunter Bezos. So he's trying to be Hunter
what are
Bezos.
you gonna
Hey,
what, what
if
are you
you
gonna do,
hate, you got to change your name on here to Hunter Bezos next week.
I will. Hey,
But
shout out the NHL. I made my first hockey parlay last night, and that shit smacked. I just cussed again. I need to watch what I'm saying, but I need to be careful. I can't be doing that. But
it
the
hit harder
parlay
than the
hit.
mama.
I am 1 for 1 on hockey, and if Jansen knows better than anybody else, that was my most profitable betting from last year. So
Shout out
yeah,
Fruity.
I took his 3-teamer.
I knew you did. I knew you did. I saw it. I saw it hit, and I was like, "Oh, I know Hunter was on that."
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, Florida, you suck. Billy Napier, you suck. Anthony Richardson, you suck. Everything about Florida, you suck. Give me the Dogs by 1 million. I think it could be a trap spot for him for sure, but I think they cover 22.5 pretty easily.
I'm either gonna be very ecstatic to talk about this next week, or I'm gonna
Or he's
be
not going to be on the he's not going to be on the pod next week because he's not going to be able to afford his electric bill.
it was not that big of a dang investment. But I'll be on the pod. I just will be depressed and
No, I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
All
I
right.
know. But that does it for week 9. Not a lot of firepower, but as Georgia fans, we love to have the Georgia-Florida game on here, obviously. And I know we don't since we didn't have a lot to talk about, I'm honestly surprised we've already gone over an hour, but I just wanted to run through, some playoff possibilities that I made on the next slide. So we kind of just break it down for everybody. We obviously had the undefeateds and 1 loss contenders, 1 loss long shots. So the undefeateds: Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Clemson, Michigan, TCU.
One of those
Obviously,
teams is going to lose, or a couple of those teams.
Georgia and Tennessee and Michigan and Ohio State. Those 4 teams, they play each other. But the
TCU plays
play
OSU.
play each other rather they've already played each other, didn't they? Played each other last week, didn't they?
TCU OSU?
Yeah, that was the barn burner. TCU beat Oklahoma State in overtime last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
They played
In
in
Fort Worth.
Dallas,
Yeah, they beat
Fort
them.
Worth,
Yep.
yeah. But what I was saying is, as far as the teams in the undefeated category go, as long as they win the rest of their games, they're in.
They're in,
And
yeah.
Georgia and Tennessee, if they drop a game, whoever loses that game, barring chaos, possibly they could be a 1-loss team looking on out, looking in.
Here's the thing, like, whoever wins between Georgia and Tennessee will most likely end up in the championship at the end
SEC
of the year.
championship game,
Yeah.
undefeated. So we'll see. And then Clemson, obviously, they just have to run the table. They will get. Let me just. I know it's not popular, and I know the ACC sucks this year. But let me just tell you, with Clemson's brand name and their history in the playoff, if they win out, whether we like it or not, they are going to get in,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
TCU,
Because their brand name,
they will
yeah.
take an undefeated They will take a 1-loss Michigan, a 1-loss Tennessee, a 1-loss Georgia, a 1-loss Ohio State, possibly a 2-loss Bama over a TCU team that goes undefeated. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Which is
either.
messed up, but granted, that's just kind of how it goes. I think
Yeah.
they take a 1-loss. I don't think they take a 1-loss Clemson or a 2-loss Bama over undefeated TCU, but they would take a 1-loss Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Michigan over an
Over
undefeated
TCU,
TCU.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, now we have our 1-loss contenders. Well, first I'll break down Bama. I'll let you go through and break down Oregon and whatnot. There's a few teams I want to touch up at the bottom, though. Some of those will be fast, but one of them's underrated, and I want to talk about it. Bama.
Illinois.
Let me make this simple. You're not making the playoff. You're losing another game this year. Let me just make that clear right now. I don't care. I don't know when it's going to be. I'm calling my shot. You're losing a game. You're losing another game. And even if you do make it to the college football playoff, you're not making it to the championship game. And if you do make it to you're not winning the championship this year. After what I've seen this year, you are not winning.
Who?
I don't care. I don't care. But Alabama. Who'd you think I was talking about?
I didn't know who you were talking about. I forgot
I
they played Notre Dame this year.
Notre Dame.
You just said Notre Dame.
I said Alabama. I said I don't care who you play. I didn't
Never
say
mind. I'm
Notre
hearing
Dame.
stuff. Never mind.
It's all good. It's all good. Bama, I just don't. I don't know. You haven't shown me enough yet in this back half of the year. Maybe this bye week you'll turn it up. But all you have to do is win the rest of your games. You have to win the SEC championship. You have to beat LSU. You have to beat Ole Miss. I think, and then I don't know, and then you play Austin P and Auburn. So your next, you have a bye week. You got 2 tough games, and then you have 2 easy games. If you win all those, you're in the SEC championship game, and if you win the SEC championship, obviously you're in. I'll let you talk about Oregon and Oklahoma State and USC. So
I mean, Oregon lost to Georgia, got absolutely mollywopped, and then they've bounced back and they've been amazing ever since. Bo Nix has looked like freshman Bo Nix, like he did at Auburn. And I mean, he's confident in his team there. He's confident in Dan Lanning. He's confident in the school. I mean, he's confident in everything. In himself, most definitely, which is the biggest thing that you could be confident in. And I mean, I think if they keep doing what they're doing and then they win the Pac-12 championship, then I think they might have a shot at getting in. But I just think a lot of chaos has to happen for them to get in. Same with OSU and USC. USC, remind me who they lost to. It was in heartbreak fashion.
no, get down, Dix.
Who
They
did
lost to Utah on a 2-point game winning
Yes,
2-point
yes,
conversion.
the tribute game for Utah. I mean,
Sorry,
I
Dixie
could
won
say
it
the
for
same
him.
thing about OSU and USC that I could about Oregon. I mean, you bounce back after your losses, and you have to run the table at this point because you cannot afford to lose another game. And I mean, OSU this week, you might have some trouble on your hands if Adrian Martinez comes back. USC, I think you're on a bye week this week. But I mean, yeah, they just got to all run the board. They got to run the board, play blowout teams, and then win their championship series to get in. So, and I think that's the same thing with the one loss long shots. But you can break those down because I know you wanted to talk about the boys up north.
No, I mean some of these will be quick. Wake Forest, you have to have Clemson lose 2 games. So
Yeah,
there's just no, because they've already lost the tiebreaker. So Clemson has to lose 2 games in order for you to get in to the ACC championship, and they're not going to take somebody who doesn't win the ACC champ. Like, yeah, you don't have a shot. Ole Miss technically still has a shot. They have to win the rest of their games, and they have to win the SEC championship.
yeah.
That's a long shot considering the stretch of games they're about to endure and having to go play Georgia or Tennessee in the SEC championship game. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either. God,
Penn State, you've already played Michigan. You have your toughest test left this week against Ohio State. We already both said we don't have Penn State winning this game. So as a 2-loss team, it's a long shot. I mean, but you can do it. If they beat Ohio State this week, they run the table. They're going to beat Illinois in the Big Ten championship, I would believe. So, yeah. But we'll see. It's going to be hard. It's another type of like Ole Miss Wake Forest situation. You've already dug yourself a hole, and now you have a tough remaining schedule, and it's going to be hard to find your way into a playoff. But technically, they only have 1 loss, so they are a long shot. UCLA could arguably still be considered a contender because Oregon's good. And if UCLA wins out and they beat USC and then they play Oregon again in the Pac-12 championship and Oregon has won out, they might be 5 or 6. They might be in there, but it's just going to be hard. It's just going to be hard.
There has to be a lot of
back.
chaos with the upper tier teams.
And you're gonna have to blow. Yeah, I mean the upper tier teams, all these teams above the long shots, stuff's got to happen to them essentially. But UCLA and Oregon could kind of cancel each other. UCLA could cancel out Oregon if they continue to blow out teams the next few weeks and they show more confidence. They could, make a shot. They could make a little run. And then this is the one I wanted to talk about. Nobody's talking about the North Carolina Tar Heels. They have 1 loss.
They do. Yeah.
They lost
I
in
looked
the
at that
playoff.
today. I looked at the ACC standings.
They're winning the Coastal this year, and that's
Yeah.
not even up for debate. They are winning the Coastal. They will be playing Clemson in the ACC championship. Everybody's forgotten how good Drake May is. everybody's kind of forgotten. They're sleeping on them. They're only ranked 21st or something. They only have one loss. I can argue that they're better than some of these teams on this list.
Yeah.
They still have to play Wake Forest and NC State. But that offense is good. That offense is really good.
I mean, they're fire. Mac
Let
Brown's
me
got them.
let me just say right now, the AP poll has Wake Forest ranked 10th, so they're a top 10 team. If North Carolina beats Wake, and if NC State keeps winning and stays in the back half of the top 25, that'd be another ranked win at the end of the year. And then you play Clemson, a top 5 team, in the ACC championship game,
And you
and
win?
you win that. I know
You
it's a
might
long
be. You
shot,
might be considered. Yeah.
but they
It's
have
a long
they
shot, but it's
control
possible.
they control their own destiny.
Yeah.
But they need Notre Dame to win some games too.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I'm so ready. I have next week's show, I have some upsets that I'm going to be picking, and it's going to come back to bite me in this point system you and I got going. But we'll see. All right, Illinois. Who would have thought, Jance, that these last two teams, let's kind of go ahead and knock them out together. Illinois and Syracuse. We are in week 9. Did me or you ever think that we'd be talking about the Fruit and the Fighting Illini as a one-loss long shot to the
Absolutely
playoffs?
not. These are basketball schools. Why are you playing good football? Like,
I don't know, dude. I don't know, but they are
it's like
here
the year of the good basketball schools.
now. Syracuse sits in the same boat as Wake Forest. Syracuse has to have Clemson lose 2 conference games,
Yeah.
so they're essentially out. But they only have 1 loss, so if they win out and Clemson drops 1 or 2 or whatever it is, which is very, very unlikely to happen, but since they have 1 loss, I did want to include the Fruit on here. Illinois is winning the Big Ten West. They only have 1 loss on the year. I forget who it was to. It might have been Penn State, but I can't remember. I know they play Nebraska this week, and they have a few tough games left. But if they, let me just go and tell you right now, the Illinois Fighting Illini, if they win the rest of their games this year, and then they go in to Indianapolis and somehow, some way beat Ohio State or Michigan, whichever one the Big Ten East puts in there, the Illinois Fighting Illini will be in the college football playoff. Will it happen? Absolutely not.
No.
But there is a scenario in a world where if they win the rest of their games and they beat Ohio State / Michigan, they're in.
Yeah.
So, will it happen? No, but it's fun to talk about. And I just wanted to do this because there's a little, we don't do this all the time. So, yeah, that's kind of how we're looking out. But give me your 4 teams right now.
Mine?
Got to choose today. Yep. Have they changed?
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Clemson.
Mine would be Georgia. I'm putting Georgia in there now. Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah,
Georgia.
I am too, because
I'm
Alabama's
putting
proved to me they suck.
I'm putting Ohio State and Michigan in there, and I'm going to put Clemson in there. So
Actually,
don't tell me you're going to do it. Don't do it. I know what you're thinking over there.
I'm gonna do it.
think. Do it.
I'm gonna
Say
do
it.
Georgia,
As of week
Michigan, Ohio
9.
State, and then Oklahoma State.
Oh, that is not what I thought you were going to do. But
I think
I
Oklahoma State makes it. I think TCU loses. I don't think TCU will keep doing what they're doing unless Max Duggan is. But yeah, I mean, I
thought
like
you were gonna
Georgia,
say.
Michigan, Ohio State, and OSU.
I thought you were going to do Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Nah.
All right. Well, that does
Could
it
be.
for our little. See, we should put our 4 teams in there every week just because.
Our new 4 teams. Yeah,
Yep.
I like that. We should.
All
Let's
right.
do that from now on. Well, we got
We
the
will.
Beer Deer pick of the week coming up.
Hey, the Beer Deer is 2-0 in its last 2. We're back up to 500.
It's because of
Tulane.
Dixie, man. She's good luck.
Oh, she's got an entrance song now. Hang on.
Where you going?
I'm not going anywhere. I just gotta change this on my camera real quick.
I didn't mean to remove them.
Florida still sucks. Dogs by 90.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dix.
Oh me. Come here. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you wanted to hop up here earlier, so
Oh
now
man. Wait, so what's Dixie's pick of the week or Beer Deer pick of the week?
Georgia minus 22.5 or whatever you can get it at. We got it at 20.5 this morning.
Bet.
So that was what was written down on the paper, but I had to show off the gear. And I had to show off the Dixie Chicks gear.
BDP. BDP's got Georgia covering 22.5 or whatever line you can get it at.
That's right. That's right.
But go Dogs, baby. It's gonna be a good week.
Dixie's got her own little entrance music now.
Yeah, she does.
Little Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
She's the star of the show.
That's right. That's right. Hey, the Beer Deer's undefeated, so he's rolling.
He's not undefeated. He's 2-2, but he's 2-0 in the last
undefeated
2
in the last 2 is what I meant to say.
There you go.
Sorry. I don't know if you could hear me over the music. I didn't realize how loud it was. I apologize.
No, I can hear you. You're good.
But Florida still sucks. Dogs minus 21 is what it says on
what
there.
It was, yeah. And then it moved up. But
yep.
I'm with you. Dogs by a million.
Oh, heck yeah. It's going to be a fun week, man.
Yes,
it's always a fun week. And you know what? I got the perfect schedule. I'm leaving here on Friday, me and Dixie. We're going to the hunt land. We're going hunting. Friday evening, Saturday morning, come back, watch them games. And if the Georgia game's a blowout by halftime, I'll get back in the deer stand. But if it's not,
wait, does deer season start this weekend?
It started last weekend.
Oh, it started last weekend?
Yeah, but this is my first opportunity to go, so I'm taking full advantage of that. So,
all right.
Yep, I'm so excited.
Anything else you want to cover?
No, just leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what we can improve. We appreciate.
Follow on Twitter.
Follow on Twitter. Yes, even though we had like 900 likes and 70,
we gained
we had
10 followers.
Yeah, something small like that. So follow us on Twitter. We were very active. Jansen, you had a tweet that went bigger than what our normal ones do.
I had one. I posted a picture of Joe Montana and I said Bo Nix when he plays at home.
That's right.
It got like 50 something likes, but nothing crazy like the one that you did.
Shout out Vol
Tennessee.
Twitter.
Shout out Vol Twitter.
Yeah. But just leave us a like, leave us a comment, follow us on the Twitter at going_for2. Tell us what you like. We appreciate every single one of you that give us a listen every week. It is very appreciative. By the way, I think we're at 42 subs right now.
Hey, man.
Let me just say, I know it's week 9. I didn't know.
Y'all are amazing.
I did not think we'd have anywhere close to 42 subscribers.
Neither would I.
I thought we were going to have 10 or 15. Let's make it 50 before this season's over with. How about that? Let's try to get to 50 before the season.
Our goal is 50 by the end
of
the season.
We'll throw a little party on here, but we appreciate you guys, and
we really do. Very blessed to have y'all listen in. So
that's right. Yeah. Well, that's about all I got. God first. God bless. We love you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all.